Okay, if you're a Mac person, then congratulations, you've come to the right place. If you're a PC user, then you don't belong here. You're meant to be on the next video when we get back together again. So, Mac people, I just told the PC people that they are my people because I used to work for IBM a while ago, but it's not true. I'm a Mac person through and through. I've owned Macs since I was a teenager. All through my life, I've owned so many Macs. I've been programming on them since I was yay high. So this is you are my people for sure. Don't listen to what I said to the other guys. Yeah, I have no loyalty. No, Macs all the way. Okay, so first step in the setup instructions is to tell you to go to the repo. Go to github.com/eddonner/LLM engineering. This link is all over the place. I want to remind you again that the best setup instructions are written in the repo. Follow the link to the Mac instructions. That's where I go through things step by step. That's what you should really follow. Use this video to see how I do it, but be sure to follow the instructions. At the top of the instructions, I've got a few things that I call the gotchas, the things to watch out for, stuff like in making sure you've got the latest Mac tools installed. So there's a few things to watch out for. So please do look at those gotchas as well. And there's common troubleshooting tips all the way through. That should be your first port of call, is to look at the docs. But now let's go through setting things up on the Mac. So the first thing we're going to be doing is talking about Git and cloning the current repo. And if you're not sure about the difference between Git and GitHub, or you don't know what they are, then please do take a look in the repo. There's a folder called Guides. Look within Guides. I've got a guide I've written on what is Git, what is GitHub, the difference between them. Be sure to look at that to get your foundations on that. Okay, and then when you're done, we're then going to open up a command prompt, a terminal. And again, instructions in the repo, but the way you do it is you go to your Finder, you go to Applications, you look in Utilities, and there's a utility called Terminal, and you double click on that to launch a terminal. And here, I've got one right here for us to work on. And here we are. And the first thing that I'm going to do in this terminal is I'm going to type git -- version to find out if I have Git installed and what version it is. And I do, and there it is. And if you don't have Git installed, then when you run that, it should prompt you to install it. So follow those instructions or look in the README so that you definitely have Git installed at this point. Also, if you're new to the command line, if you're not familiar with using a terminal in this way, there's another guide on that too. Look in the guides folder in the repo, look at the guide on the command line, and use this as an opportunity to build up some foundations, some confidence in things like files and directories, moving between them, copying them, all the basics in a command line, just so that you know the lay of the land, and then we'll get going. Okay, I'm going to start by typing cd just to see that I'm in my home directory. To find out what that directory is, I type pwd, and it tells me that I'm currently in /users/ed. That's my home directory. You won't be in /users/ed unless your name is also Ed, in which case, hi. But you'll be in /users/your name. So the next thing we're going to do is create a new directory called projects, where all of our projects belong. It's customary to have a directory that you call projects. You may already have one, in which case you'll be able to type cd projects and you'll go right there. You may not, in which case we'll need to create one, which is what we'll do now. And now you can, of course, use it in a different, you could have it within another directory, like your documents directory. It's one little trap to watch out for is it's best not to have it in a directory that is part of your iCloud directories, like documents or desktop. Try and avoid having it on your desktop or in documents. There's various reasons for that, but one of them is that those folders are replicated to Apple's iCloud, and that can cause various problems with repos and slow things down. And it's not necessary because your repo is already replicated to GitHub. So recommendation is just to have it in your home directory. So I'm going to type mkdir, make a directory called projects. There we go. We've done it. Now I can cd projects. I can go into it. And if I now do pwd, where am I? I am in users ed projects, just where I want to be. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go back to the repo again. Here it is. This is the LLM engineering repo on github.com. And there's this green code button. And I press on this, and I make sure that HTTPS is selected like that. And I'm going to copy this URL to the clipboard. It says copied. All right. So I've now copied the link to this URL. Okay. I now go back to the terminal window again. Here it is. And now I type the legendary command, git clone. That means I want to take a copy of someone else's repo, well, that's my repo, and have it locally on my computer. Git clone, and then you paste that link that we just copied. So we're saying git clone and then this remote repo called LLM engineering. And when I press enter, it will take a few seconds, but it's now copying down the entire repository. I prove it. I type ls to list the contents of projects. And there we see we have one thing in here. It's called LLM engineering. And I can do cd LLM engineering. And then I can do an ls again, and there is the contents of LLM engineering, the repo. It has been cloned. It is now local on my computer. So far, so good. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is still in step one. Step one's quite a big step. Step one, we're going to go back to the browser again. And now I want you to go to cursor.com, cursor.com. So for this project, we're going to be using Cursor as our IDE, as our development environment. Now, you don't need to use Cursor if you don't want to. Cursor is a fork of VS Code, and if you use VS Code, everything will look basically identical. And you could also use anything else. You could use Windsurf, you could use PyCharm, whatever you want, it's all good. But I'm going to use Cursor. It's nice. I like the AI features. You have to pay for the AI features, but you get 2 weeks free trial, at least as of today, if you're new to it. Otherwise, it's a paid plan, but you don't need to pay it. If you don't pay it, you just don't get the cool AI autocomplete with frontier models. But completely up to you. There's a download button here, download for Mac OS. I can press that button. It will then download it in the usual way, and then I can open it, I can launch it, and there will then be an installation process when I have to answer a few questions, set up an account, select what I want, and you should just pick all the defaults, get it all set up, and subscribe to it. Use the free trial, of course, and then get things going so you can then launch Cursor and be ready to go. And once you've installed Cursor, you can launch it either from your applications folder in your Finder window, or it might be an icon on your desktop, or it might be in your system tray. But you can then launch it and it should open and it should look like this. This is a sort of new start screen. And if it doesn't look like this, even after you've answered any first-time questions, then there's a file menu. You go to the file menu and choose new window, and this should come up just like this. You won't have this stuff here. You'll just have these buttons, I imagine. And the first thing we're going to do is open a project. So a project in Cursor refers to the top level folder known as the project root, which contains all of your code. In our case, it's LLM engineering, the thing we just cloned. And that's what we're going to open as our project right now. Okay, so I come in here, I click open project. I'm now in Ed. So within Ed, I go into projects. And here's LLM engineering. And now this is a bit fiddly. You double click on LLM engineering. So we're now looking at the contents of LLM engineering. And now you press open. It's saying that's the folder that is our folder. And this pops up. And this is everything. This is the beginning of all of our stuff together. So the thing you want to look for, you want to check that you see the different weeks appearing here as folders, weeks 1 to week 8. And you also want to check that in block capitals on the top left, is LLM engineering. That's telling you that we have opened the right folder. If you've got this chat thing over here, you can get rid of this. This is the AI chat. One way to get rid of it is just to drag that over like that. But this is the screen that I like to see. So here we are. We've opened the LLM project in Cursor, and that completes step 1 of our 5-step instructions. And now we have good news that the remaining steps are steps that we can do with our PC colleagues at the same time. We can do them together because it's going to be identical. So I will now at this point say congratulations on step 1 complete. I will see you in the next video with everyone back together again for step 2 through step 5. See you then.